Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well today. We're just waiting for a few more.
Good afternoon.
All right, thank you. We're waiting for a few more of us to turn on their audio so that they can join the classroom. So we'll just give that a few more moments, yeah? All right. Okay, great. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session on Introduction to AI Tools. Okay, so I see that there are a few of you here in this room, some familiar faces. Probably you may have attended some of the previous sessions brought to you by Hatch, as well as Go Digital ASEAN. All right, so let me just wait a few more moments for more participants to come in, and then we will get started, all right? All right, and while we wait for the others to come and join us, you can also follow through today's session by going to menti.com and use the code 69188914. So I'm going to activate, hopefully I can activate the QR code here as well. So you can join us by scanning this QR code. All right, great. I think we can get started. So thank you so much, everyone, for spending this afternoon together with me on a Saturday. My name is Huda, and I will be walking you through today's session on Introduction to AI Tools. So just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Huda, and I founded this organization called Fempreneur Secrets, where we empower women to build profitable businesses online. I'm a digital marketer, and I'm a trainer as well as a practitioner. And I've been running businesses since 2010. I also have a video and live streaming production house in Singapore, and I've served Fortune 500 companies as my clients like Hitachi Asia, Prudential, and UOB Bank. Safe to say that why I shared that with you is for you to also understand that I have had the experience of being in the digital marketing world, and AI is definitely a useful help to the whole industry. All right, so I know that some of you in this room perhaps are completely new with the whole landscape of AI, but some of you perhaps have heard of some of these AI tools for today. So as we go through the agenda for today, I'm going to be spending about 1.5 hours with you as we walk through the introduction to AI tools and its landscape. We'll also explore some different types of AI tools, and we'll do prompt crafting and practical applications. So feel free to use the chat throughout this whole session. So if I have any questions, I will be asking you for response and participation. So I will make it easy. So for example, I'll ask you like if you have heard about AI, you can drop a 1 inside the chat. And if you've never heard of AI, you drop a 2 in the chat. So to keep it simple for all of you to also participate with us today. And other than that, I want you to, of course, have fun and also explore this whole knowledge together with me as I walk you through what you need to understand as an introduction to AI. Now, feel free to also, like write notes as you go along, and where there are parts that are relevant, I will share with you some of my personal stories and my experiences to make it more relevant to all of you. I hope that's okay with everyone, yeah? Okay, great. So let's kick off today's session by setting some ground rules. Okay, so we want to make sure that this is a safe space for everyone. So stay open and curious as you learn. Share your stories into the community. I believe some of you have already, or most of you are already in the Circle community. So go there and share some of your stories or your experiences too. And of course, be respectful and exude kindness to everyone in this room. And last but not least, to engage actively in today's session. Okay, so we're going to start off using menti.com to actually ask you this question. Which AI tools have you tried? So to participate, just help us by going over to menti.com and use the code 69188914, or you can scan this QR code for you to participate. Since there are 15 of us in the room, I will wait until I have 10 responses or so, and then I will carry on to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, so which AI tools have you tried? Okay, so we've got 3 responses here from one person: Facebook, WhatsApp, Zalo. I've not heard of Zalo. It's quite okay, something interesting, something new. Okay, and how about the rest of you? Feel free to participate. And you can repeat the answers, yeah? So don't feel shy. You can definitely repeat some of the responses here. Okay, so WhatsApp, definitely. I think some of you have tried WhatsApp as an AI tool. ChatGPT, yes. Facebook is also the Meta AI, so it's pretty much the same one that you were experiencing when you use the WhatsApp AI. Okay, great. Copilot. Okay, so I think some of you may have used Copilot before. Okay, let's see what else. What else is gonna come up? If you have used something entirely different than this whole list that your classmates have shared, is there anything else that you would like to add on? Okay, there are 4 of you who submitted responses, so I'm just gonna wait until we hit 10. Okay, 8 responses, sorry. So 2 more responses, and then we will carry on to the next segment. Okay, great. So we have ChatGPT. Okay, I think a lot of you do not know how to spell ChatGPT, but it's okay. We've got variations of ChatGPT being spelled out here. Yeah, so there's ChatGPT, ChatGTP, Chat HPT. They are all ChatGPT, but okay, no problem about that. Midjourney, great. So we have some people in the room who have tried Midjourney, great. AI Genesis, okay, good. And Canvas, I think you are referring to Canva, or are you? Is there another app entirely called Canvas? Perhaps you can just drop it inside the chat as I go along for today's session, yeah? So we can learn together. There are plenty of AI tools that are taking form in today's context. So I may not know everything. And likewise, I think this will be a great avenue for you to also learn from one another too. All right, great. So let's carry on to the next part. And I have another question to ask you. So now that you have shared with me what you have used, have you identified or used any AI tools that you have heard about but never used? So which AI tools have you heard about but never used? Okay, so I'm going to activate the QR code again for you. Okay, so which AI tools have you heard about but never used? Okay, good. Good that we have someone who have heard of ChatGPT but never used it. Okay, good. Okay, let's wait for more responses. Okay, so for those of you who have just joined us, we are here today to learn about the introduction of AI tools. And I'll be walking you guys through all the various AI tools that we will be talking about. There are some that are more common, and there are some that are more particularly used in the context of marketing. Okay, so ChatGPT, so we've got 2 responses. Likewise, I will wait until there's about 10 responses before I move on to the next question. Okay, this is actually kind of like a warm-up because throughout this whole session, in the next 1.5 hours, there'll be a lot of this type of questions. So I want you to get used to actually using Menti. Okay, Playground, Gemini, okay. Gemini is something that we will be covering today. We can show you a little bit about how it works. ChatGPT definitely will be covering it today. Are there any others that you have heard about but never used? Canva, okay, Midjourney, yeah. Okay, I really do not know this IKTP or Minafan. I've not heard of it. So likewise, I've not used it. Okay, but great that you are sharing this with me. So maybe after this, I'll do some Googling myself. Okay, as well as CapCut. CapCut, I think the AI are more about actual content creation rather than the topic that we're going to be discussing today. But thanks for sharing that. Okay, good. And we have one more bit for you to actually think about. Now, the whole landscape of AI is not new, okay? So how many of you here really, really think that it has only been recently introduced, like very new, 2 to 3 years kind of thing? Say maybe 5 years, up to 5 years down the previously. So if you think that it was just taken place about 5 years ago, you can put a 1. But if you think that it has been along for a very, very long time, you can drop a 2 inside the chat. So which is it? Like, is it only 5 years ago? Or is it like very long time ago already this has been around? Oh, okay. So you probably only heard of it just about 5 years ago, right? But the reality is that this has been around for quite some time. The origins of AI, as you see here on my screen, is that it can be traced back all the way to 1950s in the form of research, when scientists began exploring about how we can create machines that could mimic human intelligence. The key word here is to mimic human intelligence, not replace it. Okay, so we will still need to be our human being and still tap on our own human intelligence as we utilize all the AI tools. So in the 1950s, there were research done, and people were just scientists especially was very curious about how we can tap on this whole new conversation around computing and how computers can then mimic human intelligence. So there were major milestones that demonstrated this potential of AI, which include, number one, beating the world chess champion Garry Kasparov in 1997, IBM's Watson supercomputer winning Jeopardy in 2011. There's actually a video of this going around on YouTube or even on TikTok. You can go ahead and watch that to really see how the Watson supercomputer was able to win a Jeopardy competition in 2011, and as well as the development of self-driving car technology. So without that history that the scientists started researching about in the 1950s, we don't have the conversation of artificial intelligence that you hear about today. And in recent years, AI advancement has rapidly accelerated due to increase in data, computing power, cloud resources, and investment in the field. Now, if you recall back, or maybe you've seen some photos around, in the 1980s and even before that, computers were so big. Like even before Apple came about, before Microsoft came about, computers needed a place, like a storage facility, in order for them to activate, for them to even be able to engage. That's how it was in the 1950s, all the way up to maybe about 1980s. And then the internet was actually introduced. Now, if you actually read up a little bit about the history of the World Wide Web, it's quite interesting because it was originally created to be a military kind of like communication portal. But eventually, the people who created internet, they realized the importance and greater potential of it, and thus they said that this cannot be in the hands of one country's military alone. It has to be shared with the world. And that's when they shared it with everyone. And now we have the World Wide Web. So this is actually something that's quite interesting. The whole history of artificial intelligence, you look at the history of internet, you look at history of cloud computing, or even computing as it is, it leads us to where we are today, where we are able to create artificial intelligence as a result of smaller sizes, okay, like our computing power is now compressed into smaller chips. And then we are also able to harness big data, but stored in smaller facilities. So this has definitely helped a lot in the progress of the AI landscape. Now, there are multiple types of AI, and I'll share with you the first one, which is the natural language processing. So this is not to be mistaken with neuro-linguistic programming, which is another NLP. Okay, but when it comes to AI, we talk about natural language processing. So this natural language processing, it enables AI systems to interpret, generate, and understand human language, including speech and text. So that's why if you have had the experience of playing around with Meta AI or even with ChatGPT, you would notice that if you were to put up full sentences, it will respond back with full sentences too. And if you were to actually request it to be conversational, it can do so because it is from this foundation known as natural language processing. There are, of course, other types like machine learning. And machine learning is actually a subset of AI, and it's focused on algorithms that can learn from data and improve at tasks over time without explicit programming. So what it simply means there in a simple language is that machine learning collects data, it takes on the form of the data, it assesses the data quite quickly and improves the data over time without explicit programming. Okay, there are some parts of it that is learning that is able to then give you the output that you desire based on the activities that is being done on the back end to improve the task. So where ChatGPT comes in is actually from the foundation of natural language processing with machine learning. So when you put the two together, you get the ChatGPT that you are experiencing right now. And there's also the third type of AI, which is computer vision. Now, computer vision is the field of AI that is heavily focused on enabling computers to identify, categorize, and process visual inputs like images, videos, and camera data. Now, this again is not new. It has been used for quite some time in the world of surveillance, especially. So, like our camera or security companies, when they are actually trying to surveil a building, they have this computer vision as part of their surveillance system, because this will actually help to enable, instead of actually having maybe 20 security guards roaming around a building that is like 20 floors. So, for example, every floor there's one security guard. It helps to minimize that manpower and allow the system to focus on, like the general movement of the building, of the people who are in the building instead. So instead of like a manpower of 20, it is able to bring it down to maybe about 5, who is just roaming around on the off-peak periods to just make sure and maintain that, stability in the building. So this computer vision thing is actually not new. It's been around for quite some time, but it has been only used in certain industries. But what you are seeing today in the case of DALL-E, which is now already in ChatGPT or even Midjourney, they are able to assess images, and so will your Copilot, Gemini. They are able to assess images. And all of that is actually as a result of taking the knowledge that has been gained from certain industries and piecing it down and putting it into what can be broadly used by everyone. Okay, so this is something I find very intriguing and very interesting when it comes to the landscape of AI. So now that I've shared with you the foundation, the introduction of it, when was the first time, if you recall back, when was the very first time that you have heard or tried AI? So just think about it. When was the very first time that you have heard of or tried AI, either or? Okay, so if you've never tried AI before, it's fine. Maybe you think about when was the first time that you've heard about this thing called AI. So you can share with me by scanning the QR code on the screen or actually joining us on menti.com and using the code 69188914. Okay, so we've got one response here saying 1 year ago. 2022, so around post-pandemic, okay? That was the very first time. So what you guys are experiencing last year or 2020, 2022 onwards, this is at the time where AI was accelerated. It was at the peak of people's awareness about what artificial intelligence is. Okay, but that is not to say that those of you who have never heard of it before, and today is the very first time you hear about AI, it's not to say that you are behind. You're actually still in the early stage of adoption where people are still trying to understand or grasp their head around this whole concept called artificial intelligence. So you're still on the early stages. You're not entirely behind. So don't worry about that. All right, great. So here's the interesting thing. Artificial intelligence, as you have already known, it has been around for quite some time. And when I first heard about artificial intelligence was way back in 2018. So in around 2018, there were already conversations about artificial intelligence to be placed into self-driving cars. And it was a scary thought at that time. It felt as though that we were not ready yet. And even prior to that, I've also heard of it in, like when I was in school, we were still talking about, we're doing discussions and debates about will artificial intelligence take over human intelligence and which is more important and all that. So it has been around for quite some time. And it's just accelerated as a result of the pandemic. When everybody was at home, everybody was with their devices, they started to get curious and they wanted to do more. And even those who were developers or coders in the world of computing, they started to get bored basically, and they really helped to accelerate the whole process. Yeah, but the gist of it is that most of us would have heard about AI or the tools that we are discussing today at least just about 3-4 years ago. Right? So great. Thanks so much, everyone, for participating and sharing. Now, big companies with large amounts of resources have had their AI capabilities much earlier than the average individual. And this is really, really true. Why? Because they have money lah. Okay, when they have a little bit more financial resources, they are able to definitely put in and invest in this whole conversation around artificial intelligence. And us as everyday consumer, artificial intelligence tools may actually be quite expensive at that time. But because the big companies are now investing in it and it's starting to normalize, that's when artificial intelligence starts to become affordable. So this is something good, I would say, as an introduction to our whole economy, something for us to think about and something for us to implement in the day-to-day operations of our work. AI definitely powers many technologies that we use daily. So some examples include our Netflix, and now they have this thing called the Netflix show recommendation. It has been around for since the beginning of Netflix actually, but they introduced it more widely into accounts in Singapore probably about 3 years ago during the pandemic itself. So these Netflix show recommendations, what it does is that based on your user preferences and also based on your watch history, what they will do is they will make a recommendation of shows that they will feel most suitable for you. Of course, we also have tools like Google Maps, for example. Now, did you know that for Google Maps, if you were to actually set out a route to the same location, let's say from City Hall in Singapore going to Marina Bay, for example, okay, you will end up getting different suggestions. And that's because it is customized to your personality and your preferences. So if a particular user has always preferred to take public transportation, the way that it will route for you or make suggestions for your route to get to Marina Bay, it will recommend you based on your preference of taking public transportation. But if, let's say, you are someone who drives or rides and you need to move around in a vehicle, that's when they will then recommend you based on a different suggested route. So this is something that's quite interesting with Google Maps too. Of course, there are also the voice-enabled smart speakers that you may have heard way, way before pandemic even, like way before that. You have heard probably about Amazon's Alexa. You can even think about now there's Google Home. There's so many things available out there. So even within the platform of, let's say, your Shopee, your Lazada, your Qoo10, and Amazon itself, there's this thing called the recommended for you, as well as customers also viewed. And that is also based on a list of, or I would say, a set of very big data of consumer habits, spend, behavior, and then they will recommend it based on your own preferences and your user behavior. So all of this are all related to how AI powers our day-to-day today. Now, with the rise of end consumer technology being made available to the public, it has made it so much easier for everyone to access and use AI. So why do we use AI for your work? Or why should we use AI for our work? Aren't we concerned that AI would take over our jobs? Well, the reality is that the purpose of AI is to boost efficiency, not to replace human intelligence. Recall back the intention in the 1950s when scientists researched about artificial intelligence. It was to mimic human behavior, find efficiencies, and boost that efficiency. It is not intended to replace human intelligence. So we be that human being or the human race that works and use AI for efficiency. So it helps us boost efficiency, automate our routine tasks, freeing up valuable time for strategic work. And it also allows us to enhance our creativity. For example, let me just give you a simple example that I recently embarked on when I used ChatGPT. So I'm currently working on a video production. And this particular video production has some ideas set in by my client. And what I really needed to do was actually to form up a script. And what I realized was that something was off. The script and the ideas were still mine. Okay, and I knew the frameworks that was needed for me to create a good storyline, because that's based on my experience, my knowledge, and the things that I've gained in, like in the years of being in this industry. So I placed the input into ChatGPT with the knowledge that I have and asked it to improve on my script. So when my script was pulled out by ChatGPT, it sounded more seamless, and it definitely helped to boost efficiency, because then I wouldn't be the one doing the proofreading. ChatGPT is the one doing the proofreading. Okay, so that's something that's helped to enhance creativity, not to replace it. And of course, you can also look at AI as a means for you to personalize customer experience, where you can offer tailored recommendations and support improving satisfaction. So recently, one of my peers actually shared with me that they found the chats that you actually have with perhaps your telco or telecommunication company about your billing and all that, they are actually quite intuitive and quite supportive in the challenges that you are facing as a customer. So it helps to improve customer satisfaction while minimizing the amount of cases or amount of waiting line or queue positions that a customer service agent would actually have to go through. So this is how you can use AI for your work. On top of that, we can use AI to make data-driven decisions. This is where we let AI analyze large data sets to uncover insights, guiding informed strategies. Now, for this particular part, being a marketer myself, I do have or I do encounter a lot of data, and sometimes it can take a lot of time if we were to analyze it. So the good thing for us who are in the world of digital marketing, it is understandable if your organization utilizes AI. It is almost expected that you will be using AI, because our clients or prospective clients, they know that when you use artificial intelligence, your cost will go down. I mean, the cost of the service offered will actually go down. And that is actually in favor for them. It's beneficial to the organizations that you are serving, because, well, they don't have to pay a lot more for the same amount of budget. So that's actually something that they are okay with. I would say clients are generally quite okay and acceptable of using artificial intelligence in your line of work. Some of them may even make the suggestion, can you just run this by ChatGPT? I'm completely fine with that. So this is something that's quite unique in the industry that we're living in right now, or in the world that we are living in right now. Of course, AI will allow you to scale your operations even further, where you can manage increased workloads or customer base without proportionately increasing your resources. So think about it. If you in the room today, you are a solopreneur, you're the only one running this whole thing called a digital marketing agency. Do you think you can get on 30 clients in a month where you serve them every single day? Not possible. So that is when, as part of your scaling of your operations, you find a niche, you find something that you're really good at. Let's say it's copywriting, and you can do 30 pieces of articles for all of your clients, but it is able to be sped up because you have the AI tools at your dispense. That you can really utilize all of these artificial intelligence tools to just speed up the process and scale your operations. Now, this is actually a true story. One of my coaching clients, whom I actually guide to build a business, she started her business as a solopreneur. And she is now focusing solely on digital marketing in the aspect of advertisements. So as part of her efforts to scale her operation, because she now started to get more clients, what she does is she utilizes artificial intelligence tools to generate advertisements for her clients, and just as a mock-up. So if her clients are okay with that mock-up, then she will proceed to hire the designer to design and all that. So she's actually very successful right now. She's like serving about 20 to 30 Australian-based clients, and she's based in Sri Lanka. So it's a completely different environment that we're looking at right now, where 1 or 2 persons can actually lead a digital marketing agency as you scale up your operations. Of course, as I've mentioned earlier as an example too, you get this thing called cost reduction. When you are able to utilize artificial intelligence, you are able to lower operational costs by automating tasks that was previously required manual labor. So for example, proofreading. Now, proofreading, if you are very familiar when it comes to like writing books or even writing SEO-driven articles, it is very time-consuming. And you have to check down to the details of grammar, spelling, and all that. It is very time-consuming. But when you run it through tools like Grammarly even, you will be able to definitely reduce your cost because it helps you to speed up the process. And now inbuilt within Microsoft as well, you have that capability to do proofreading too. And lastly, to stay competitive. Now, as business owners, you want to utilize the latest technology to remain relevant and competitive in your industry. The onus is on you to find out what is it that is supposed to be helpful for your organization. Find the tools, customize them to suit your need. That is your responsibility as a business owner. Now, AI tools can be particularly transformative for under-resourced teams, small businesses, and entrepreneurs by leveling the playing field and offering, just as I have explained earlier. And what we've been seeing at the ground at Hatch Media House, not just Hatch Media House, I would say in general, in the whole of the industry, we see a reduction in time for website builds from months to weeks. So last time, if I were to develop a website from scratch using WordPress, it would take me months. It can sometimes be even a year for one project for website. But with today's technology, the advancement of AI and also the capabilities possible, we're able to reduce down the time from months to weeks. The fastest I've done a website is actually the 5 minutes, thanks to the tool that we'll be introducing. If you actually signed up for the previous sessions about how to create a landing page in 5 minutes. Okay, but if I were to talk about really from conceptualization all the way to actually completing the website, the fastest I've done is 48 hours, including copywriting. So it is really, really possible for you to actually see how much time has reduced as a result of artificial intelligence and technology. So this is the creating a landing page in as much as 5 minutes and also writing human sounding copy for campaign materials. Now, thanks to that natural language processing that ChatGPT and a lot of artificial intelligence tools have, it makes copywriting for campaigns more human-like. Right? It sounds more human. So it really helps a lot. So even if your command of English is not good, for example, you can run it through ChatGPT or any of the AI tools, and it will help to create something that sounds more, well, grammatically correct. Okay. And you can also document your work and share in-depth briefs with minimal effort. Because now, once the system has a template of how you normally do up your creative briefs, for example, you just run it in with the customizations. It will just speed up the whole process of the work that you do. Okay, so I want to ask you a question as we are at this midpoint of today's session. What or where are you curious to use your AI for your work or your marketing? Okay, so feel free to scan the QR code or join us at menti.com and use the code 69188914 to participate with me today. So where are you curious to use your AI for your work or marketing? Any responses? We've got 18 people in the room, so feel free to jot down your responses. If you find that it's difficult to connect to Menti or you're facing some challenges to submit, you can just drop your responses in the chat and I'll read it out too. Okay, the question I'm asking is, where are you curious to use AI for your work or marketing? Oh, construction industry. Okay, great. To increase work efficiency, content writing, graphics. Yeah, great. Any others? Okay, I'm opening the chat as well. So if you find it difficult to use Menti, you can feel free to go into the chat and also drop your responses there. So we've got 4 responses. I'll wait until I have maybe about 8 responses before I carry on to the next part. Okay, I hope you're with me. I know it's a Saturday, but yeah, being engaged really helps you to learn. It's part and parcel of the learning process. Okay, in a short while, I'll be showing you some tools that we are going to be playing with. So it's kind of like a demo session. So if you do have if you're interested to see that, you just stay till the end as we are going to demonstrate that too. In the law industry, yeah, definitely. I think this is really quite scary too, because I think in today's landscape, contracts and all that is still, I mean, you can actually use artificial intelligence to write contracts, but you still need the lawyer himself or herself to still vet through and make sure that it matches with the legal rulings and all that around it. Okay, expand customer base, okay, corporate access to automate office tasks. Great. And I think we are blessed that today we have a wide variety of industries that are attending this session today. Good. And that's exactly what we hope for this session, like where you explore the introduction to artificial intelligence tools. You may get inspired about how you can utilize it for your own industry. Now, which conversational AI tools shall we explore today? There are 6 that we have shortlisted for you. I just need your help to do a poll for me right now. So you just choose which ones of the 6 that you would like to explore today. And I will demonstrate up to 3 of them today. Okay, so let's see. If you've never seen or heard of any of these tools, that's actually a great chance for you to also see it being demonstrated in action. Now, most of these tools are free trial or free for you to use to just, like play around with it. But for you to do more work with it, you would need to pay for access. All right, great. So we've got ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, Bing Chat, and Notion AI. There's only one response. I think this is coming from one person. So I'll wait for a few more responses to come in before I make a final decision on which are the top 3 that we will be looking at today for conversational AI. Okay, so we've got ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity at the top 3 now. I will wait until we have, say, 5 responses. Perplexity is 3rd now. Gemini has gone up to the top, ChatGPT is 2nd, Perplexity is 3rd now. Okay, great. And I think the numbers are coming up. Okay, I'll wait until there's 10 and then I'll stop, okay? I think that's people are just suddenly like hearing that you can participate in this poll. Okay, so Gemini, Perplexity, and ChatGPT are the top 3 right now. Okay. Just wait for 2 more people to join us for this, and then we'll close this poll. Okay, great. So it's a Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. So we're going to work on these 3 today. And what generative design AI shall we explore today? So generative design means we put in a prompt and it will generate a design or an image for us. So you've got the Canva AI, ChatGPT's DALL-E, Midjourney, as well as Framer AI. So which one would you like to look at? So just to share, ChatGPT DALL-E, you have to pay for a pro version in order for you to access it. Yeah, so this is kind of like their way to ensure that the images that are being produced are actually for a good purpose. Okay, we've got Canva AI, ChatGPT DALL-E, and Midjourney at 3, the top 3. Okay, I think we only have time to actually look at about two tools. If you have a bit more time, I will look at the rest. Okay, so we've got Canva AI, Midjourney, ChatGPT DALL-E as the top 3. Okay, great. So now that I already have what we are going to look at, which is conversational AI, as well as the design AI, I will take a pause here where we'll come back in 5 minutes time while I set up the tools for all of you, okay? So don't go too far away. I will call you back when I'm done. It will take less than 5 minutes in all honesty, okay? So I'll be right back. All right, I told you it's going to be quick. I'm done setting it up, so now I'm going to share my screen. So feel free to join me wherever you are, because we're gonna be showing to you how each of these tools actually work. So we're gonna start first with the conversational AIs, and I will start with ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is the foundation. In case you don't know, ChatGPT was the first one that started to make this whole concept of natural language processing very, very popular. So when ChatGPT first came out, people were very afraid of what it could do or what potential it could have. So today we are able to actually explore ChatGPT and utilize it for a lot of good use. Okay. So here's the thing for ChatGPT, I am going to share with you how it works. Okay, and then I will get some suggestions from you. So feel free to type the suggestions as I request for it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to start first today with a clarification on how we can actually prompt properly. Okay, so this is just a brief prompt that I usually use. So we're going to tell and instruct ChatGPT to do something, and then we're going to tell them what we are going to do. So it's kind of like when you are in the office and you want your peer, your colleague to do something for you, you should do something yourself too before you actually get your colleague to do something. It's kind of like, like the push and pull dynamics in a relationship. We're going to treat ChatGPT the same way because of the natural language processing. It has that capability to it has that capability to also be treated kind of like a human in a way. So let's do that right now with ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to ask it to act in a certain manner. Okay, so act as a copywriter. Okay, let's give it 20 years of experience. Okay, 20 years of writing experience. Okay, I will provide you with a topic and you will write an SEO friendly article for my blog. Acknowledge that you understand this instruction. Okay, so it helps if you, of course, proofread your statements also. So got some typo errors here and I'm correcting it and I'm going to submit. So this part here is important. You want it to acknowledge you that the system understands you. Because sometimes they don't understand your instruction and they may actually respond back by saying that, hey, I understand, but I need some clarification. Can you clarify what you mean by this certain term? So that's where you get that check and balance thing in the conversation that you're taking place with ChatGPT. Okay, great. So now let's provide a topic. What industry would you like to test this out? So I will use that industry, the first industry that pops up in the chat, and then I'll use that to demonstrate an SEO-friendly article that ChatGPT can do. How about that? Okay, so whichever industry that comes up first in the chat, that's the one that I will use for this demonstration. Anyone? We'll see like what it is. Okay, training. Maybe let's try a little bit more specific. What does... Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That was my timer. Sorry. Okay, let's get a little bit more specific. What do you mean by training or what aspect of training? Anyone? What aspect of training are we looking at? Mental health. Okay, awesome. Let's do that. Okay, the topic is how to practice mental health in the workplace as a trainer. Okay, let's see what they're going to come up with. Okay, so there you go. Almost instantaneously, they come up with some really, really good content with regards to mental health and practicing of mental health as a trainer. And now what you can do is that read through, okay, and pepper it in with facts or also things that you have learned and experienced as you go through your life's experiences or your professional experience. Okay, so they've got 10 pointers here. You can cut it short to 7 pointers and what have you, and adjust it according to your own industry. So this is actually how fast you can put up a content. Now, this is where we get ChatGPT to create something. But how about if you try to converse and have a conversation with ChatGPT? Let's start with a completely new chat. Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate something really, really interesting that I tried recently for another one of my classes. So what I did was that I wanted to have a conversation with someone, kind of like, imagine ChatGPT is like a counselor, okay? You kind of have some things that you want to talk about, but you just want to pen it down. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT can do, okay? So act as a friendly counselor. I will share with you my challenges. You will provide me with guidance on how I can overcome those challenges. Make sure to ask me questions by question. So question by question. Okay, at the end of 3 questions, summarize my conversation with you. Okay, since we're talking about mental health, I think this is quite relatable. Okay, so there you go. It says, I'm here to help you. Come, let's take things one step at a time. What is the challenge that you're facing and that you would like to talk about? I am facing anxiety issues at work. I am stressed all the time and I don't know how to deal with it. Okay, so that's what they're going down. You can see ChatGPT is using its natural language processing and talking to you. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling this way. It sounds really overwhelming. Let's start by exploring what might be causing this anxiety. Can you elaborate a bit more about a specific situation at work that triggered these feelings of stress? I have a lot of stacking, deadlines, and I am the only one in charge of this portfolio. Okay, these are all examples, okay? All right, and that sounds like a heavy burden. So it's starting to sound like a counselor would, right? Especially if you're handling and all that. So do you have currently any strategies to support? Okay, I am using the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize my task, but they are still everywhere. Let's see what it says. Now, this is already 3 questions in. Okay, so let's see what they're going to do. Do you have the option to delegate or communicate with your manager? Yes, I do. I can communicate and ask for help. Okay, now let's see. Hopefully by now it should summarize. Yes. So now the summary of the conversation. After 3 to 4 questions, the conversation has now been summarized based on the instruction that I placed at the very beginning to summarize my conversation. So it says that you are experiencing anxiety at work due to multiple stacking deadlines and being the sole person responsible for your portfolio. You are currently using the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize tasks, but it's still overwhelming. And you have the option to communicate and ask for support, which can be a key next step in managing the stress. Now, for those of you who are working full-time right now, and this sounds similar like what you're experiencing, let me just add one more, and like we're going to just tip it a little bit across, and we're going to ask it to craft up a message or an email to our supervisor to ease up our workload. Let's try that, okay? Now that you understand my situation, write me an email to my supervisor asking them for a reduction in my workload. Keep it professional. Now, there you go. Okay, I hope this message finds you well. I'm reaching out to discuss my current workload and to request some support. Recently, I've been experiencing that based on what you have shared with ChatGPT, right? I would like to explore possible adjustments to my workload. Thank you so much for understanding. And what additional things I would do with my experience also is that I would probably insert the things that I've already done. So I mentioned about the Eisenhower matrix earlier. So I can share that I've been trying to actually prioritize my task, but it's been proven to be difficult. And then put a screenshot or, like an attachment into this email. And there you go. You actually kind of like solve one problem, just by having ChatGPT be there for you. That's actually something that's quite interesting when it comes to ChatGPT. Okay, great. So now with this same idea in mind, okay, the context in mind, we're going to go on to Gemini, which is the second tool that you would like to explore. So for Gemini, it is currently available if you have the Workspace account with your Google Workspace subscription. You can actually access this for a limited time. Other than that, if you have a Google Pixel phone, it is complimentary for you to access it. And of course, because of a limited time, also they're also giving you the opportunity to try it out. So at this stage, I believe it is on trial still. So you can experience it and also play around with it. Now, the difference between ChatGPT and Gemini at one point in time before Gemini Copilot came about was that ChatGPT does not have access to the internet. So it is only based on existing data or existing resources that has been placed into the software. And it was valid all the way up to 2022. So when ChatGPT updated to version 4.0, it started to adopt a more intuitive and more, how would I put this? It's able to pull in more information and something more relevant to the context of today. Okay, so that's the difference. And in Gemini, it is actually assessing the web, particularly Google tools. So anything that is related to Google search, YouTube and all that, it is extracting information from that. And that's where Gemini becomes quite powerful. So if we were to ask a question, let me see if there's anything else that was popped up in the chat. Oh yes, the construction industry. So I think that's quite interesting. So let's enter a prompt here related to the construction industry. So fine, maybe we can take some of it, some inspiration here. Okay, so give me ideas on how I can manage my construction team better in a residential construction project. Okay, so it's quite a simplified prompt here for just for your information. So here they make some suggestions like effective management strategies for residential construction teams. So these are some of the suggestions that they have. You are the expert, the person who placed them down that you're interested about the construction industry. So you are the expert. Have a look at this and then you tell me if this is actually helpful for you being in the construction industry. They're quite, I would say, generic still, except for maybe number 4 here, where you have to do quality control, efficient resource management, team bonding, and all that. Okay, so great. Now they ask you this question. Would you like me to delve deeper into any specific area of the construction team management? That's where you can modify selected text. Okay, sorry, just click on it. Sorry, there's a fly in front of me. Please excuse me as I'm like trying to swat the fly away. Okay, so here is where you can modify the prompt. Okay. Oh my God, this fly. Please excuse me. Okay. So if you modify this prompt, let's try to regenerate based on this specific prompt or this area and see what will come up. Okay, so would you like to explore any specific area of construction team management, or perhaps you have a particular challenge that you would like to discuss? So you can respond back by saying, yes, I would like to learn more on how, oops. Are you guys able to hear me? Okay, great. Sorry, my audio just suddenly have issues. Okay, never mind. It's okay. As long as you can hear me, that's the most important part. Okay, great. So I'm going to add in here that yes, I would like to learn more on how I can manage a building on time. Okay, so then here is starting to be to me like this is not what I'm asking for. It's starting to show things that are a little bit out of context, and probably because the prompt is not strong. So let's give it a stronger prompt. Write me a proposal on how to effectively manage timelines in the construction industry. Oh, okay. You would like to see what is being flashed by the AI. Are you able to see my screen though? Just wondering. Oh yeah, it is there. Yeah, so as I scroll through, you'll be able to actually see it as I demonstrate too. Okay, no worries. Okay, I will scroll through slowly, okay? All right, so the question or the prompt that I placed in was to write me a proposal on how to effectively manage timelines in the construction industry. So the proposal that they come up with the title as well, Effective Timeline Management in the Construction Industry. Starting first with an executive summary. This proposal outlines strategies to enhance timeline management and what have you. They even included a problem statement, kind of like a proper business plan, which is great. This is the problem. And then they've also proposed some solutions like comprehensive project planning, realistic timeline setting, agile project management, enhanced communication, effective resource management, technology adoption. And then they even included this thing called an implementation plan, which I think is really quite interesting. So some training and development, what needs to be trained in your team so they can better manage timelines, process standardization, performance metrics, continuous improvement. So if you are this manager who is trying to propose to your upper management and senior management that, hey, we really need to relook at the processes that we have in our construction industry so that our team will be able to perform better, this is actually a great start. You can now turn this into a proper proposal with images, charts, or even spreadsheets. And then you can present this to your management. This is where the tools are there to actually help you. But other than that, just a quick one, Gemini actually allows you to do other things. Like for example, just as an inspiration here, find YouTube videos with inspiring best man speeches and see what they will come up with. Is they're going to propose the actual videos that you can look at. So these are some of the YouTube videos as well for you to consider. So they can do a lot more things, but I think for the purpose of conversational AI, that's what I've demonstrated for you today. Okay, we've got a little bit of time. I'm going to move on quickly to Perplexity before I go on to all the generative AI. Okay, so next one is Perplexity, which is the third one that you were interested to find out. It is pretty similar to Gemini. If you look at it in terms of like what it can do, it's quite similar. Okay, so let's see. Now, the difference is that you can also attach a PDF document. So let me see what I would like to attach for you to see how this is done. I'm trying to find something that is safe. Okay, hold on. I managed to find, okay, so I have attached an article that I've saved as a PDF, and now I'm going to ask it a question. So based on the attachment that I've placed in, summarize the 3 key points of this attachment and make suggestions on how it can be implemented into my training and development business. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to summarize the 3 key points from this particular PDF, and they're going to answer it. And then after that, they're going to make some suggestions on how we can implement it into our training and development business. So here, based on reading and scanning through the document, it outlines the framework for identifying customer pain points, which is crucial for any business. The key points are number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then in terms of the implementation suggestions, it is to conduct needs assessment, develop tailored solutions, and enhance support services. By integrating these strategies into your training and development business, you can better align your offerings with the needs of your clients. So this is something that Perplexity is able to do. Now we can try one more. So what I did in the previous round with another batch is that I actually asked it to give me the best recipe for chunky chocolate chip cookie. Okay, so it's going to look through the internet and then it will identify which is the best recipe and for what reason. So here's a delicious recipe for chunky chocolate chip cookies. These are the ingredients down to the grams and all that. And then these are the standard instructions. But the tips is I feel quite helpful. Where, you know, for extra chewy texture, consider adding additional egg yolk, mix and all that. Of course, you can't take this wholesale. You actually have to go through the articles or the sources that they have identified. So they've identified 3 sources for me to look at. Okay, so this is Sugar Spun Run. I'm going to go down to the recipe and see how close this recipe is as per what was provided by Perplexity. So they talked about butter. So here, unsalted butter, great. They have brown sugar. Here, there's brown sugar and granulated sugar. So they also included granulated sugar. And then the list goes on. So let's look at the instructions. Combine butter, sugar in a large mixing bowl. Preheat the oven. Yes, so this particular recipe that we saw online didn't include the preheating of the oven as an instruction. Okay, so I think this is really quite useful. And then here you have cream the butter and the sugar in a large mixing bowl, cream together, so on. So I think this is a standard cookie recipe, which is actually quite helpful for us to understand how we can find the best recipe in that case. Okay, so this is something that's quite interesting. So they took it from multiple sources and then come up with their own recipe. You can try it out on your own and see if it works, especially if you're a baker. If it works, then hey, great, you actually have a recipe that functions based on all the different sources that has been out there. So this is something interesting for you to explore with Perplexity. So far, so good, everyone? Yeah? So what we have covered are the three tools, which is ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity when it comes to conversational AI. So I'm going to move on to the next set of tools, which is for generative AI. Now, for generative AI, it's a little tricky because there are a lot of things that can happen. So we're going to start first with the Canva AI so that you kind of like understand how you can utilize this tool for your own design needs. Okay, so AI in Canva comes in many forms where they also partner up with some developers to kind of like produce the AI tools to help you. So what we are actually going to look at is not the ones that are third party, but the ones that are created by Canva themselves, okay, because that's the one that's going to help. So how are we going to do that? Is to create a design, any design. Okay, so first, let's say it's a presentation. And what I'm going to do is to go to the left-hand side, and you will see in Magic Media. Okay, so Magic Media is one of the ways that you can actually get started with using Canva AI. Okay, so here you're going to place in some prompts. So for the purpose of demonstration, I'll just hit this button called Inspire Me. So they say metallic colors, holographic background. Not enough, you need to add in a subject, which is something lah. Okay, you need to add in something into it to make the description stronger. So perhaps what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a crayon, a box of crayons in metallic colors with a holographic background. And then you can select the style. There's many styles for you to choose from. So if it is a concept art, playful, retro wave, or even like watercolor. So it's going to be a bit hard for them to demonstrate metallic colors in in watercolor, for example. So I'm just going to choose something that's easy, perhaps neon. Okay, and then you select the aspect ratio. Is it square, landscape, or portrait? So if you want to use it for this PowerPoint presentation or this presentation itself, we're going to put in landscape and generate the image. So the system will take some time to generate the image, and they will propose 4 images for you to choose from. You just have to select which one that you want, click on it, and it will automatically be entered into your design. So here I have a box of crayons called Canva. Yeah, box of crayons called Canva. Top view, front view, with some text, and this is like top side view. Okay, so let's take a look at one of it. This is how it looks like, and if I like this, I can set it as my image as background, and I already have a generated image. But you can notice that any generative images created by artificial intelligence will not have proper text. So this is actually for your information on the grounds of ethics. You can easily spot an AI-generated image a mile away because of things or hints like this. Like, for example, they can't actually spell out properly, or if you try to read out, you can't really make sense of what is it that they're saying. Or if, let's say, you are asking it to actually, design a human being, for example, some of the features may look off. Instead of having 5 fingers, they have 6 fingers. Or instead of actually having fingernails, there's none. This kind of things. And that is actually designed on purpose. For those of you who didn't know about it, it's actually designed on purpose. It is to differentiate a generative image created by a machine and one that is created by a human being. that is the main intention and the main reason behind it. It can actually process the way that it's supposed to, but the designers or the people who behind the scenes who are actually creating the codes and all that, they purposely made it to have this form of imperfection so you can quickly identify and differentiate between the work that is being done by a human being and one that isn't. Okay, so what is the work around to this? So I can always just like add in an element over. Let's say I add a shape over and I replace it with the name that I want. Okay, so as an example, because they propose Canva, I'll just type in Canva here as well to demonstrate to you that to make it looks nice. So I kind of like just replace this like that. And it looks a little bit like the label of this box. Okay, not perfect, but you somewhat have the idea that it looks like an okay image for you to work with. Okay. Now, other than that, Canva also allows you to create documents. So I'm going to demonstrate with one document over here. And when they create documents, what they mean to say is that you can actually use this function called Magic Write. So you can click on it and ask it to write something for you, but you have to be descriptive and also give it as much information as possible. So we are going to try an example here where they propose to write 5 Twitter posts announcing a product launch for a new alarm clock phone app. So instead of Twitter, because we don't really use that much right now, we can convert it to be 5 Instagram carousel post ideas announcing a product launch. Okay, and then you can generate. So the system will generate, and what happens after that is you just need to insert it in. So currently I've accidentally inserted this into the header. So I can copy that and paste it here and change this back to paragraph. Okay, now you have it, you have something to work with. Now imagine if you are taking the article that we generated from ChatGPT previously. Was it ChatGPT or Gemini? ChatGPT, yes. You know, the ones where they had a lot of pointers here. So I asked it to generate an SEO article. I can actually copy this whole thing if I want to. Yeah, I can just copy this whole thing. I'm going to place it inside Canva. Okay. Yeah, you can see it's not formatted properly because I have this thing on. Okay, so now it's formatted properly. And what I can do now is that with the image that I have generated previously from Canva itself, I can add in as an upload here. Okay, so not that it's entirely relevant, but it's just to demonstrate to you how it looks like. Okay, and I somewhat already have an article that I can use, whether to export it as a PDF or even, you know, to give it away as a freebie and things like that. So it's actually quite useful to look at it in this regard. Yeah, very helpful. Great. I'm glad that you find this helpful. So here is where like you can utilize a lot of the tools from Canva. Canva has plenty for you to work with to recreate designs that can be helpful for you. So I'm going to just demonstrate one more thing here from Canva. For example, over here, you don't quite like how it actually turns out. You can also ask it to rewrite this portion. So just select it and then this will come out. So what do you want it to do? Do you want it to shorten, expand, rewrite, or even edit further? So what we're going to do is we're going to ask it to rewrite and it will improve, and it's just proposing an alternative way of saying things. Okay, so this is how you can utilize Canva to help you with your AI efforts. Okay, next, wait, I forgot what was the other one that you all wanted to see. Was it Midjourney? Let me go back. Canva AI, Midjourney, and ChatGPT DALL-E. Okay, great. So I will demonstrate on ChatGPT DALL-E first before I show you Midjourney. Okay, so for ChatGPT DALL-E, you have to have a pro version in order for you to access it. So what you want to do is to just go into ChatGPT and give it an instruction. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate to you how we can use this based on, let's say, a book cover. Okay, so design a book cover with the title mm, with the title, Best Recipes to Make Chunky Chocolate. Oh, okay, too specific, to make cookies. Or best cookie recipe and so on. It should be artistic and feature the chef in the book cover. Propose 3 designs. Okay, so based on the prompt, sometimes it might not actually understand that you are inquiring it to design an image. So what you want to do is to let it just play out first. Okay, now that it has already kind of like processed and think about it, they see this last part where it says, if you like one, I can generate one of these images for you. Okay, so for the benefit of those of you who wanted to see what was being processed, let me just walk you through. So based on the 3 proposed design that I asked ChatGPT to do, it is suggesting me to do a classic and warm kitchen vibe with some explanations over here as how it should look like. Second design idea is minimalist modern art, some pastel colored backgrounds and all that. And the third suggestion is playful collage of cookies. So I think that let's like push it a little bit further and let's go with the minimalist modern art and see what it will come up with. Okay, generate idea number 2. Okay, and it's going to generate the idea, and it probably is going to propose you how the book cover will look like. That is not perfect. Okay, but it is great as a start for you to do mock-ups. Okay, so now this is where it gets really, really interesting. So you see the best recipes to make cookies is perfect in terms of its wordings, right? But remember what I said about how all these creators of developers of artificial intelligence have made it such that it has to be imperfect for you to detect that it is a ChatGPT or like it is an image that has been generated through AI. You go to the site of the book. You see that best is spelled as BESST. And then over here, cookies is here, right? Cookies is correct, but here is wrong. CCPs instead of recipes. So this is something that they would normally do to show to you that it is an artificially generated image in a way. Okay, so here you have a mock-up. Now, what would I do if I am the company that needs to get this book cover out? I would just go to find a designer and I'll tell them this is the mock-up. This is the idea that I have. Okay, I need your help to actually change it into something that is more relevant and more applicable to the context. So at least you have something to start with. It is not as though it's going to replace a designer entirely. Okay, it is somewhere for you to start with. So this is the part for DALL-E under ChatGPT. It can definitely do much, much more things, more profound things. So for example, if you like let's say you like Mona Lisa. Okay, so I'm going to ask it to like get inspired by Mona Lisa's art and put that into this book. Okay, take inspiration from the Mona Lisa painting and add that, no, and modify the above book cover. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so now it's going to repurpose it, take my inspiration. Hopefully it's going to produce something that's quite decent in this case. Okay, so quite interesting. Best recipes to make cookies. So now here is where like something perhaps that I would do could be that if I want to give this to perhaps my client, I would tell them that instead of Mona Lisa's face, it will be your face, the chef. Okay, so yeah, the chef will be placed there. So this is something that is a great start in a way for you to actually develop mock-ups and then send it over to the client for their approval. Okay, so this is something that you can work with when you use ChatGPT DALL-E. All right, great. So now I'm going to share with you Midjourney. We may actually exceed the timing a little bit. So if you really, really need to leave at 4:30 later, you're welcome to. But I will continue on just maybe 5 or 10 minutes more to share with you the wrap up for today's session. Okay. So let me share with you. I hope you can see my Discord. Let me check. Okay, great. So this is Midjourney. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you because these are actually generated prompts that were generated by students, and these students are young. They are like below the age of 10. So Hatch recently has a program where we teach children on how to generate stories or like create images using Midjourney. So this is an example of what we have done. So the prompt that we placed in was a carrot man relaxing by the beach wearing polka dot shirt and sunglasses, sitting on a beach car, looking relaxed and happy in watercolor illustration style. So here are some examples of the images that Midjourney was able to produce. It actually looks quite decent. And I know like if I don't know that it was generated under in Midjourney, I couldn't tell the difference. Right, so this is something that is actually quite impactful, especially for the younger generation to see. Okay, Tracy, you can see now? Okay, great. So what you see here was the prompt, a carrot man relaxing by the beach wearing polka dot shirt and sunglasses, sitting on a beach car looking relaxed and happy in watercolor illustration style. So when it comes to Midjourney, the difference is that we need to be very specific with our ask. We need to be very, very clear with what we are asking, and then it will produce like what you can see over here. So I'll give you an example. Another way that we did was that we actually asked it to produce another style using color pencil illustration style, and it started to get a little bit haywire. So this looked nice, this didn't. So this is some of the challenges when it comes to actually using Midjourney. Okay, but I want to also just show you some of the other works that the students have done. Like for example, this one. They were very inspired by the Sanrio character Kuromi, but the instruction was sleeping on a bed, but spelled wrongly. Sleeping on a bed. Okay, so you get some examples pop up over here. Okay, let's try out one. We'll do one together. Okay, when we do any generation of images, we actually need to start with the term imagine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slash imagine. Okay, and I'm going to give it a prompt. Okay, so let's imagine we are, I don't know, let's say a superhero. Okay, I like to use superhero as an example. Okay, so a superhero who likes, a superhero playing soccer while flying in the sky over buildings in France. Let's see if it can do, pop up an Eiffel Tower, for example. Okay, and then we're going to send the prompt. What's going to happen is that it is going to generate the prompt, going to produce, it will take some time. So they have a percentage of completion over here. So in this case, it's only 15% completed. And then you basically just have to wait. So in the case of like Midjourney, in most of the cases, what we recommend people to do is to give it some time to generate, and like don't force the process to take to overwork, because it might end up producing not so good images. So there you go. So I've got a superhero playing soccer while flying in the sky over buildings in France. So let's see, do we spot anything that indicates that it's France? No, it only shows perhaps buildings in general in Europe. So we're going to adjust this prompt. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we are going to reply. Okay, and we're going to ask it to imagine again. Okay, but this time round, we are going to be more specific. A female superhero playing soccer while flying in the sky over buildings in France and Eiffel Tower. Let's see if we can generate. Okay, so now it is going to start. So it says here waiting to start. Okay, 10%. Usually it will take some time. So maybe about 10, 20, and so on, and then eventually you will get there. So after you see the image generated, you can select which image that you like, and you can also create more variations also. So you over here means the variation of the same image, number one. So how it goes is like number one, number two, number three, number four. So if it's U1, it means that I want more variations of U1. If it's V1, it means that I like this image. Can I download it? Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, so let's say now we have this. Okay, great. We have this. I really like number 4. So maybe we want to see more variations. So we click on U4 and it will produce more examples. Sorry, upscale. Sorry. U is upscale. Okay, yeah. So U is upscale here. Now I can see this image. It looks quite nice, quite presentable. The soccer ball is on top of Eiffel Tower. And then the superhero looks nice and she's flying. It meets the bill. It really meets the character. So here I can now pull out this image. I can just simply click on it and open in browser or just right click and save image. And now I have a copy of this image. So this is what makes the tool quite interesting and intuitive, I believe. Yeah. So I want to try one more thing. Probably just 2 more minutes for using of this tool. We're going to create an advertisement. Okay. Okay. Design a Facebook advertisement for I don't know, for a family friendly retreat to Bali. I don't know whether they can do it, but we'll see whether it is smart enough to identify and do the part that is needed. Okay. So again, it will take some time for it to produce the image. So we'll get to see how it is able to actually understand this whole instruction that I've given, which is to create a Facebook advertisement. Okay, so 32%. So far, we've pretty much covered all the tools. This is the last tool that I'll be sharing, so it's quite helpful. Great, so take a look. Image 1, 2, 3, and 4, they all look really nice. In fact, all 4 of them can actually be suitable for this advertisement. So let's try V1 and we'll see more variations. Yeah, so V is variation. So we can click on V to show more variations of the same image. Hopefully, if you get 4 versions of that, we can start running a Facebook advertisement and place in the text, put it up into our Canva, for example, to design the advertisement. Okay, so 32%. Okay, and now there's proposing alternatives. They all look nice. I particularly like, let's see, which one? Maybe the third one. Okay, so let's say we like the third one, we click on U3 and it will upscale for us to actually download. So we click on it and we see there are 2 child. The legs are a bit odd. Okay, the mom, I don't know where her legs are, but yeah, you get the gif. And then you can save the image and download it. Okay, so that's how it Midjourney looks like. Okay, now we are going to go back to the last parts of our presentation. Let me just open up my slides. Okay, great. So now that we've actually covered quite a bit of the tools, we've taken a look at all the various tools as well. And I've also demonstrated both conversational AI as well as generative AI tools for you to use in your day-to-day activities and your marketing efforts. We need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is challenges and limitations of AI tools. The first challenge is data privacy. So when you put in data into AI tools, it can be used to train these models. Recall back one of the things, it is about machine learning. So it needs to train the model in order for it to learn on how it can become better. So be mindful about the information that you provide, especially personal or sensitive data. So if you are working with very sensitive data, my recommendation is to not put in those data. Replace it with X or plus or hex. So these are just ways of how you can actually denote that they are data that you're going to be replacing with your own notes later on. Other than that, bias. Now, AI has this tendency to be biased, which is what makes it a tool, which makes it AI. So sometimes AI might give answers that lean a certain way based on the data that it was trained on. It is like asking a question and getting an opinionated message or response so that we should look for diverse viewpoints. So you can always train it in another way by asking it a different set of questions. Okay, so this is something that will actually help you to realize that you cannot take everything generated by AI wholesale. You have to make adjustments to your own articles as well, and feed it into the perspectives that matters for you and your organization to avoid this bias. And also, there's this thing called the AI hallucination. Now, AI might sometimes make up information or get things wrong. So it's your duty to always check facts and figures that the AI provides against trusted sources. Okay, and even if you provide it with facts and data when you are placing the input or the prompts, it can still it can still have an output that is completely different than what you have placed in. So always make sure to check and double check your facts and your figures. Okay, so the effective prompt crafting style, this is something that I've shared in the first demonstration for ChatGPT. You must always start with a very clear objective on what do you want the AI to do, what is the context that you would like to provide, who is it for, and what are the specifics, the details. Give it as much details as possible so that you can work on it. And if you can, include it in the tone and the style to specify exactly how you would like it to look like. So in this prompt crafting, we actually saw this in action when I demonstrated to you the examples that children have come up with in Midjourney. So there was an objective, there were context, there were details, there was tone, and there was style. So this is something that will help you to actually craft a really great prompts for you to utilize in ChatGPT. So in the example here, for example, the objective is to create a landing page. The context could be for a night-only F&B business specializing in street food. The details will be emphasizing Mexican cuisine, vibrant night atmosphere, targeting food enthusiasts. The style will be informal, inviting, and energetic. So make AI your co-creator, that it should be there to help you make your things, your activities move faster. It helps to improve efficiencies. So identify creative needs. Determine which part of your project requires creative input or enhancement. Definitely not everything in your project needs it. Okay, so that's the part where I need to remind you that the tools are there to be efficient for you. They are not there to replace you. So you still need to use your intelligence, your experience to make sure that you still get to complete your projects in the manner that you normally like. And of course, select AI as a co-creator where you get to choose AI tools suited for the task. Not all the tasks that you have could be suitable for use in ChatGPT. Perhaps you need DALL-E or you need Midjourney. So you use the tools that are relevant for you. And of course, set collaborative parameters where you get to define your goals, desired style, and constraints to guide the AI. You can also engage in iterative creation where you will be interacting with AI as a partner, where I demonstrated previously, where I treated ChatGPT like a counselor so that I can get a summary at the end of it, and then they will help me to actually generate an email template to send to my supervisors. So this is where you can, utilize AI to help you come up with some, partnership based of like creation. But at the same time, you can refine the prompts based on the outputs until your desired results are achieved. Lastly, to incorporate and adapt, because even when you integrate artificial intelligence into your workflows, you still need to incorporate and adapt it to suit your organization and your work processes. Okay, so it must be blended or placed suitably into the components of your project. So what we have explored today, we've taken a look at the introduction to AI tools and its landscape. We've explored different types of artificial intelligence tools, and I just briefly shared with you the prompt crafting and also did demonstration with all the different types of tools and showed you how you could utilize those artificial intelligence tools with the prompts that I came up with. So just a quick reflection. So this is like from a scale of 1 to 10, I believe. Yeah, so you can go to menti.com and just do this reflection with me. There are 3 questions for you to answer, which is, I feel excited to try new AI tools after today's exploration. I feel more confident with prompting AI. I have more of an idea on how to identify opportunities to integrate into my workflow. Sorry, it's a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, all right. So from a scale of 1 to 5. So feel free to just do this quick reflection. I'll leave this up for just a few more seconds for you to submit your reflection. I believe there's one more class of like there are a couple of sharings that have already taken place about how to effectively write AI prompts. So if you are in the Circle community, you can actually go back and look at some of the past sessions that has taken place. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, let's go on to the next question. The next part, please share your feedback. You can scan this QR code to provide your feedback. And you will also receive an email maybe about 1 or 2 days after today's session to request for you to complete the feedback as well. So I hope that you had a great time with me. And I just want to share that Hatch Media House is very committed to supporting your journey every step of the way. So whether you're looking to refine your AI strategy, enhance your digital marketing, or solve unique business challenges, Hatch Media House is here to help. So you can go to mediahouse.hatch.sg to learn more about the services that they offer and how they can work together to transform your business. Okay, so someone is requesting for the QR code again for the feedback. So I'm just going to pop it back here for you for the next 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. And if you would like to stay connected with me, my LinkedIn is here on the screen, linkedin.com/in/Huda-Hamid. Or you can just search Huda Hamid, the girl wearing the pink hijab. That's me. Okay, so if you want to have further question or you would like to connect with Hatch Media House, this is their WhatsApp number for your information as well. Okay, so with that, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And I hope that you've had a great time learning about artificial intelligence tools. And I hope that you'll be able to also utilize this for your own work processes. Okay, so that stay safe and have a great evening and weekend, everyone. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Evelyn, how to have the past session? Okay, our Hatch colleagues will reach out to you. Could you just privately DM them your email address if you're still here with us? Okay. All right, so thank you so much, everyone else are here. All right, great. Thank you.